Family members have identified the victim as 21-year-old Quiana Noble.
Noble's killing marks Stockton's 30th homicide in 2022. While high, it is below the annual average of 40 homicide cases per year since 1995. Tony McNeil says the decline is in part to collaborative efforts by community groups like Faith in the Valley and Advance Peace, working with the Office of Violence Prevention.
While the homicide rate has fallen, it is still far too high. Community advocates say this case shows the need for more investments.
21-year-old Quiana Noble was a pure soul who graced everyone with a smile, the type of person to take the shirt off of her back to help those in need, especially her grandmother, whom she had an extremely close relationship with. Quiana's mother describes her as a beautiful, bright, and blessed child who always made everyone laugh. On July 19th, police responded to Albany and Astor Drive for reports of a shooting. Upon arrival, they would find a woman and a male teen suffering from gunshot wounds.
It is littered with at least 35 evidence markers, giving you an indication of the hail of gunfire that erupted in this neighborhood just before 6 p.m. A family is grieving tonight, waiting for hours to identify the body and confirming their worst nightmare. A body of a woman has been in the street behind this barricade here on Albany Drive and Astor Drive next to the black hatchback car. Family members who showed up at the crime scene say they believe the victim is their 21-year-old niece because the car belongs to their niece and they cannot get in touch with her. But at this hour, family members tell me that her mother has not been able to identify the body. Police say they are not ready yet as they continue to investigate. Now, the aunt who was here tells me that her niece still had so much life to live, a very sweet girl, and family members tonight are just reeling and are in shock.
Sadly, the woman identified as 21-year-old Quiana Davis was pronounced dead at the scene, passing away in her youngest sister's arms. She was shot and killed in a hail of gunfire with a 16-year-old boy who was also struck, being behind the trigger. He was taken to a local hospital where he was treated for non-threatening injuries. He was ultimately arrested and is facing charges for her death. The 16-year-old boy and an unknown man met up with Quiana and another woman in the area of the shooting. At some point, the two men shot at the two women, injuring Quiana and causing her to die. Quiana has spent the last year and a half recovering after she was hit by an alleged drunk driver. Her mother says she does not want to hold grudges against the suspect charged with her daughter's murder. It's forgiveness and healing that she is seeking as she calls for the cycle of gun violence to end. In the very spot where she died in her little sister's arms, family and friends gathered for a candlelight vigil to honor Quiana's life and to support her mother and sister.
Family and friends gathered to remember 20-year-old Quiana Noble. She was shot and killed Tuesday in a hail of gunfire outside a home on Astor and Albany Drives.
I just can't explain it right now how I really do feel. Like, my baby is gone.
Brooke Noble, her mother, says her eldest daughter was the type who would give the shirt off her back to help someone in need.
She was a beautiful, bright, blessed child, always had everybody laughing.
Quiana, she said, had spent the last year and a half recovering after she was hit by a drunk driver. Her mother says she doesn't want to hold grudges against a 16-year-old suspect charged with her daughter's murder and a second suspect still at large.
I don't wish nothing bad on them. You know, I wish more so that they can get some help and hopefully be better for themselves.
It's forgiveness and healing she seeks as she calls for the cycle of gun violence to end.
More community peace in the streets, more community people to help out, more police.
Quiana's death marks the 30th homicide of the year for Stockton. Her family created a GoFundMe to raise money for funeral expenses. As of right now, the second suspect who fled the scene is still at large.